Fellas, how did y'all feel about Marvin Sapp going viral for trying to get get a 40 ball out of the church?
I have a very strong opinion about that, and I might get on my soap. I probably just need 2 minutes, so I'm gonna try to address it
I
from.
I clear out ISO.
Now, I just feel like people love to take things out of context, and they don't even really care to understand the context that it was stated in. Because a lot of people that have come out of the woodworks, in my opinion, are, oh, you see, that's why I don't go to church right there. You see that man? He asking for. You know what I mean? So you kind of got that crowd of people who really just looking, they witch hunting for something with the church, regardless of what's happening. Just a point to just, I guess give people a notion of why they choose to or why they choose not to, attend or do, those things of that nature. But um he actually came on the Breakfast Club in the morning, and I actually don't listen to the radio at all, but I was in the car um with my girlfriend, and we were listening to it, and I got a chance to listen to some of it on there. And he talked about how he was at a convention, and that in that convention, those were the same people that actually helped catapult him into the position that he is today within his music career. It's the same convention that helped give him the platform that he has today in order to be a multiple time platinum, Grammy award winning, artist and things like that. And I think what was the mandate, and I think because we grown up in the church, so we've been in situations not where Pastor said lock the door,
40
but
man.
they trying to, they got a goal that they're trying to meet. And I think it was said in this, I don't know if he said lock the door, but he said
Oh, he's like close the
he said
doors, yeah.
close the doors, right? And it's meant to deter walking and distractions around the time of giving. And if you go to church, you know these things. It wasn't a fire marshal impingement of people's movement, of them literally not being able to physically leave the building. You know what I mean? It was meant to be a call of reverence in regards to, hey, we got a goal that we knew we had to meet coming into this. I'm charging all people physically here and online to sow a seed of $20, and I believe leaders were charged with sowing a seed of $40.
100. Well, the dudes in the pews, he said, y'all we giving 100.
Yeah, they were saying like the leaders we're actually giving 100, and they asking the people in the pews and the people that were online if y'all could sow a seed of $20. And it was like, with the amount of people in here, if we do that, we will exceed our goal, right? So it's all in context. That money wasn't going directly into Marvin Sapp's hand, and he let people know on the interview, right? Like, I've been blessed enough to be, vocational to where, pastoring isn't my only source of income. I'm an artist. I have real estate. I do stocks. You know what I mean? Like, I've been blessed to be put in a position to where, I'm not panhandling people for money, but we are trying to raise money in regard. And he spoke candidly about, how he had given, like he had tithed at a specific church for a certain amount of years, and was able to. I think he was pastoring a church in Michigan, and he left the church debt free and was able to put them in a position to where they could, you know,
Mm-hmm.
live on and move on, without him. So it was just, in my opinion, um, again, the people that wanted to see the, oh, see, that's that, yeah, that, yeah, man, that
It's
nigga be
like
on some money, bro.
you
He
trying to
hustling
single
us.
out that one moment to justify your disconnect with the church.
Exactly, and people, and I get it. People may have had some ill experiences with the church, and the you may have met some people in the church that have hurt you, right? So it's just like, it's all about finding where you belong. Because I think we're going into the preaching portion of the of the
Mhm.
part to where people be like, oh well, I can believe in God and not go to church, and I worship and granted, yes, you can worship at home and you could pray at home, but God has a specific way in which He wants us to do things and go about things. And it also says in the Bible, obedience is better than sacrifice. And in the Bible, it also states like, forsake ye not the assembly of God and his people, right? So it sounds like it says, hey nigga, don't forget to go to church. And because God is a God of fellowship, he made us with that spirit as well. So when people become closed off, and I get it, you can be a more people can be more social than others, right? But in our nature, right, when we're operating and vibrating at our highest capacity and our fullest potential, fellowship is good. It's not good. God didn't create man for us to be closed off and sectioned off by ourselves. He meant for us to be in stepping in tune with other believers and being in community to where you help and grow. Because again, it also says in the Bible, iron sharpens iron as though man sharpens another man. So again, it just goes to show that like you can't do this walk alone, especially if you call yourself a real believer. You know what again? So it's like people can have opinions on what they say about God, but it's just like, what does God say about God? What is the character of God? What does He say in His Word about how we should be trying to go about doing things? And kind of steered away from the topic, but on the Marvin Sapp specifically about asking people to give $20. Man, y'all pay more for bottles when y'all go to the club. Man, $20 used to be a gram of weed back in the grip. Like, what are we talking about, bro? What legitimately are we talking about? Do you because really what you just showing me the hand of like just tell me you hate the church without telling me like because you're looking for a reason to winch hunt because $20 ain't nothing because if we being real like $20 ain't even parking at the club. $20 may get you half a tank, and you know what I mean. In today's economy, like what are we really talking about for real? Was it just a hang up on words on ushers? Please close the door. Like, because again, it sound witch honey to me in regards to people willing to hang out there without context. Because again, uh, f the truth, that don't make for a good story. We need something to
Oh
be
yeah.
mad at. We need something to be in
Mm.
in, in enraged with in regards to the church. But it's crazy to me, dog.
It's like the fun. It's like the quote that goes, "Nobody cares about the truth when the lie is more entertaining."
Exactly.
Um, and so I've heard the perspective from like a pastor before talking about the struggles with being at a large church is that the congregation, like Lord, on the outside looking in, you think a large church doesn't struggle financially because, oh, they have a large congregation. But what happens is the members of that large
They like,
congregation,
man, we
they
got so
all,
many people that go here.
I,
I ain't gotta give.
right. And so, like, if everybody is thinking, oh, they got it, they got it, they got it, they got it, and they leave and they go home, and it's 1,000 of us that go to this church, and like we only mustered up $217 for offering, you just like, you just like I can't give 10% of nothing, Lord.
Right.
So like, yeah. Initially watching it, I was just like, I didn't know if he was if he was pastoring over that church, and then like I heard like after the fact, it's like, oh, this was a conference, so on and so forth.
Exactly. It was a conference and they were trying to raise money for the conference that they hold every year in
I
regards to
will say that I wasn't sure about the dynamics of that because somebody said they was trying to raise money or make money from the conference or whatever the case may be. Like that kind of like made me like start to like grow like curious. Is like, what do you mean trying to like make money for the conference? I wasn't really sure from that because I would think that if people were at the conference, they had already paid whatever registry, blase, blase,
but we
blase.
don't know that. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah. We don't know those details. So like that, I was kind of thinking about like, what you mean, like make money for the conference or whatever. But um, I do think that I think that was a one important uh point that you brought up and like people using it as a using that situation to bash the church and try to justify like their disconnect with their church or whatever they came
And
from and their
bro,
relationship with God.
another
Um,
another thing is too, it's also been like a negatively perpetuated notion of like when you serve the Lord and you serve God, like you have to be poor while doing it. Like why do we associate Christianity with being poor or You know what I mean? Like if God is the he said, I own the cattle on 1,000 hills, and everything in the earth is mine and the fullness thereof. So God is telling me he's rich in abundance and glory, quite literally in physical, attainable, tangible things. Bob also states, I come that you may have life and have it more abundantly. He didn't specify a specific area of your life in which you can experience abundance. So if I'm thinking of the word abundance, I'm thinking of abundance in my health, abundance
Multifaceted abundance.
multifaceted. It is not boxed in or bubbled into just one particular thing. And it's just like, oh, oh, you want to be attractive for God, right? I think it's a thin line between being show offy, right? um and parading your wealth and like dangling it in people's faces, or dangling money in people's faces, than like having a frugal approach to money and still being blessed, right? And still walking in a certain type of humility to where it's not loud, right?
Mhm.
I think you can do that, but it's just like we gotta disassociate the idea of, okay, because we in the church, like, like if it ain't okay for the
And
church
it's
to have money, who is it okay for it to have money? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, and
who's supposed
like
to have the
and
money? Like,
and also too,
I
it's
don't
just like
understand.
and it's not just church people, people in general, even away from like a spiritual religious component, like people in general just have bad relationships with money and for whatever reason. And so like certain dollar amounts like trigger people, you know what I'm saying? And I mean, you also brought up another good point, like, yo, you gonna go spend 20 over here, over there, and some of y'all piss off $20 throughout the week because y'all don't know where it went, you know what I'm saying? And
Boom.
also too, you should want to contribute or help take care of God's house, right? From that standpoint.
People don't care, bro. Like they don't
But
look at it
but
like it costs to do ministry. Like in order to give back and really be like a staple in the community where you are,
yes, yeah,
bro, it costs money. Like it don't just like money is a vehicle and an instrument that is used in order to propel and move God's kingdom forward. Like,
yes. And I would say, and I want to say this too, like, um, all pastors out there who see this situation, you may be feeling, if you're feeling whatever you're feeling like, damn, I gotta watch how I talk to my congregation, or I'm scared to ask for money, or some pastors who rather be prideful or rather just suffer in silence and let the church go under, go into bankruptcy and get confiscated by the banks and so on and so forth, because you may feel like, oh, we streaming, I don't want to go viral, or people think I'm trying to shake down my congregation. One thing, me and my wife, we was talking about this, and obviously, like us all growing up in the same church together, having the same pastor. Shout out to Pastor Shannon T. Oliver, Calvary Missionary Baptist Church, H Town. You know what I'm saying? Off McGallion Road, off Tillwell. If you're looking for a church home. But one thing I could appreciate from pastor is obviously it was, I believe that was like Hurricane Ike, where we got displaced off of Yale. Then we had to uh rent or share a church with somebody else off airline, and because of that our congregation dwindled and like scattered, and then we literally seen the church on McGallion get resurrected from the ground up. And because like we are or were a relatively small congregation, it's just like, yo, bills and certain things had to be paid for us to be able to maintain and upkeep this church. And again, if you're a pastor, you're trying to figure out like, well, how do I properly, or the best way to go about saying, hey, we need XYZ to keep the lights on or pay the mortgage this week. One thing I appreciate about pastor, and which is why I never like felt no type of way or felt like he was trying to shake us down, was like he was one always transparent about what and why we needed it. And I think if you're a pastor in those types of situations, you know what I'm saying, as opposed to just moving solely, man, I can't tell you how to move if God is telling you to move a certain way, but I just know for our pastors, like I believe he was always just transparent about what and why we needed it. And it was never just, hey, everybody in here, God told me I want all y'all in here to give me $50. and just leave it at, you know what I'm saying? I don't, pastor was, it has never been like that. As far as I've been on them, and it's just, like I say, it's just been always been a transparency of like, hey, this is what we need, this is why we need it, these are our current circumstances. Come help us if it is on your heart to do so. You know what I'm saying? And I think if you kind of go about it like in that way, that maybe kind of maybe makes people more open to wanting to give an extra offering and so on and so forth. But like I said, man, like shout out to Pastor. He was always just transparent and like just open about the circumstances. And it was never just out the blue. I feel in my spirit, Lord want everybody to come up here and give 50. I'm like, go for what? Like, Pastor just always is upfront about whatever it is we needed. And I think that's how you got to be if you're a pastor, like trying to, like, to avoid situations like Marvin Sapp found himself in. But yeah,
Um, it's zesty if you ask me. Um, to use the pulpit to be like a petty Negro is it's a little zesty to me. You know what I'm saying? Um, I really don't want to speak too much on it because I'm ashamed, but I shouldn't be ashamed. But for you know the people who really trying to win souls for Christ, who really really trying to do the work. You know what I'm saying? And don't get me wrong, I'm not judging nobody. I'm only just judging the actions. And it's just distasteful for you to get caught behaving that way. And
you talking about who,
What are you
like who,
talking about?
like you saying it's distasteful for who to get caught, like who you talking about?
oh, we're not still talking about Marvin Sapp?
Well, yeah, I don't like. I'm so we was
Yeah,
talking
we trying to
about the
figure out like what
preachers and
like what's your
congregation. Like we was trying to figure out like who specifically you were saying is distasteful to be acting like such. You talking about Marvin Sapp, or you talking about the congregation, people online?
yeah like who you talking about acting like who was distasteful?
I didn't appreciate Marvin Sapp's actions.
Okay.
I didn't appreciate them. Me personally.
I don't know why I'm laughing, but we were just no. You good with continuing to talk? We was just trying to figure out who you was talking about. That's all.
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I sound crazy. I don't know, but
No, you
yeah,
don't
I think
sound crazy. We just didn't know who exactly you were finding fault with, the people or the pastor. That's all we was trying to understand.
nah, bro. That ain't never been the way you go about it, big dog. Ain't never been, bro. See, and what I hate is like all of the pastors who have been working on this for so long to where they are damn near begging, but they not begging. They don't even go as they didn't got skilled enough to not have to use enforcement. But you was just like, I'm so big, I think I can use enforcement in the Lord's house. And I'm
Mm.
like, my nigga, whoa, nigga, whoa, nigga, you have gotten beside yourself, child of God. Come on, man. Leadership. And they know the cost. Like, bro, like you really did the whole act and the whole dramatics and all that shit. We all gonna leave together. Together, nigga, stop trying to make us family because you asking me for money, my nigga. That's
Mm.
one. We're gonna leave together. And then try to shame me. You ain't going nowhere but to the restaurant. And everybody behind you, all your minions behind you laughed at.
I'm not gonna lie though, in this day and age with inflation, your last 20, that's asking for a lot.
And everybody on the internet was like, let me have seen
I
her
ain't gonna
shit.
lie though. I love that Sedacious is taking that that's his perspective and that's his reality of the situation. But how is it any different? Like again, like I don't know if you because from I ain't gonna lie, from me knowing what I know about you, It sounds like you don't know the full context of what was going on, because I don't think it's no different than when Pastor asks everybody to come outside if it's offer time, and like we got people outside smoking cigarettes, or people posting up, or you know what I mean, whatever the case may be. Like it's it was a it was.
His intent, I think, forgive me if I'm like not saying what you're trying to say, but it's just like
Oh, I'm gonna say what
I
I gotta say. I'm gonna just let you say what you gotta say.
I feel like it's the internet that took it, and as it always does, made it out to be what it wasn't. Like I don't think his intentions
Because
was
what I know
like
you to be, Sedacious, is a believer, and eh, I'm not gonna lie to you. $20, that's a gram of weed, my nigga. $20, that's parking at the club. $20,
Yeah.
that ain't nothing, bro. Like, and then it ain't even the fact that because I don't really have a problem with what he did. I think context is everything. I think what turned people off was the ushers. Can you close the doors? And I think it was just to deter people from walking. And he explained it. The reason I know so much about it because I heard the interview that he gave on the Breakfast Club when he came on in the morning. And he just gave a lot of context behind it, because he was saying at the time it was a lot of people that were walking around and walking in the sanctuary. And typically, before you give, people like to get everybody in the sanctuary because you want people to
you
be.
don't want people to miss out.
You don't want people to miss out on that part of it, because people think, again, it's such a taboo, touchy subject in a church with money. Ministry costs. You need money. And he was explaining what exactly they were raising the money for. It was actually a fundraiser, and I'm assuming people were led and knew something prior to, because he was saying like, "Hey, the leadership already committed to all the leaders up here. We're giving 100. We asking for the people in the audience, and if you on stream, to sow a seed of $20 if you can. Not nigga, give me $20 or your ass can't leave. Nobody was it. It wasn't like a fire marshal problem of the niggas like
Yeah, that's the internet. That's
locking
the
niggas up like
internet.
they
Yeah.
locked the doors of the church and niggas physically couldn't leave. It wasn't
That's
nothing like that. It wasn't nothing like that.
I'm glad you heard the interview because that gives it its proper value and context and
Exactly.
in its lens and its scope. And like how
People
I
were free
started,
to leave if you
yeah,
needed to
like
do
just how I started out
anything.
talking about D Flowers and Maxo Cream and how you can't get caught up in the internet. This is another case in point where like you can't get caught up in like the internet taking and manipulating and
Because what we
curating
do know about
stories.
people is that they hate God and they hate God's people, and they were looking for anything to say, "Hi, see, I told you that wrong if with the church now. That's wrong if with pastors now. Nigga come begging for money, he locking us in the church. I would have stood up." I'm not saying you thinking that, but I'm saying I've heard other people have
No,
a
no, no.
very
I feel
ignorant.
you. And the stance that I take is don't get caught slipping, man of God. Don't get caught slipping like that, especially on the internet, man of God.
I
I
could
feel
clip anything, but bro, I'm pretty sure if a nigga clip pastor what he said or something, they would take it all the way out of context. So I could
oh
clip you.
yeah.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. I could clip you up for a minute and a half and leave out the rest of the 38 minutes that you was
Yeah,
talking. You
yeah,
know what I'm saying? And it just and
yeah.
I paint a picture of, damn,
That's the
this nigga
internet.
is, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? And it's just
yeah.
like people didn't care to want to
And in
get to
this
know the real story
society,
because the lie sounded so juicy. Why get the truth? Fuck the context.
this is entertain. The lie is entertaining.
Are you not entertained? This is
Yeah.
better than the
Well, see,
truth.
the thing is, the close the doors comment is it's like even with the tone, right? The tone doesn't suggest, hey,
Come.
the tone doesn't suggest, hey, I'm having an issue with people walking around, going in and
It
out, not
actually
really
did
paying
sound
attention
like
to
he
me,
had
not
an
taking it
issue.
serious.
That's why he was like, close the door. That nigga sounded pissed to me a
Right?
little bit.
He sounded like, bro, I'm really ready to, yeah,
Because
yeah.
if we
So
were
it's
in
like,
there, and again, I don't know the context. What if I ain't even trying to make it seem? I don't know Marvin said. Marvin said don't pay none of my bills. So I mean, I'm not trying to defend the nigga to the death, but to me, I think it was just overblown,
You
and the people
defending the
who are
church.
overblowing it are the same people that's making memes about it. If I see you this, that mean I want the money that you owe me. You know what I'm saying? It'd be like
Yeah,
I be trying to
nah.
tell people too. I don't think this is one of them. You got to be careful playing with the man of God, man. That's all I'm gonna say. You gotta be careful with doing that. So I try not to, especially with the spirit I heard about it in the in the context, because I don't know if you were biased when I was explaining, but like in the interview, he was saying that they were actually at a conference and a convention with a goal in mind. Like there was a certain money
Mm,
goal in the convention that everybody in attendance knew about. So I don't know if around the time when it was actually time to give, people started, you know how it is.
yeah.
Niggas get up and walk around. Niggas finna go up and shoot at
Mm,
some. Niggas finna go smoke a shit.
yeah.
Unfortunately, yes, that happens.
I ain't got no money this Sunday, so let me go
You
ahead
know
and
what I'm
move
saying? And
around.
that's cool though. Like again, I don't think the ushers wasn't at the door, baby. You got I died for you know what I'm saying? They ain't doing it, bro. They wasn't doing it.